This video demonstrates flying an approach using the Simgeneering G1000 simulator. We will fly the ILS-09 approach at Guernsey Airport in IFR conditions. These two screens replicate what is shown on my Logitech flight instrument panels with the G1000 simulator running. The upper screen is the primary flight display and the lower screen is the multifunction display. First, we switch on the autopilot and activate Alt mode to maintain the current altitude. You can follow which buttons and dials I am using on the flight instrument panels as they are highlighted on the inset screens. Now we select the approach using the PROC menu on the MFD. When the menu opens, Guernsey Airport is active as it is the closest airport to the current aircraft position. Select the ILS-09 approach. Now we can set the minimums for this approach, which is 466 feet. By selecting Activate, the procedure is loaded as the active flight plan, and a direct to route to the first waypoint is set. Next we set the autopilot to follow the active GPS route. By selecting Nav mode, GPS capture is armed. The autopilot tries to capture the GPS track, and once the aircraft has intercepted the GPS track, the autopilot mode will switch to GPS active. The initial approach altitude is 2,000 feet. We set the altitude set point on the PFD to 2,000 feet by selecting the Alt knob. Then, vertical speed mode is activated on the autopilot, and the nose down button used to set a rate of descent of 700 feet per minute. As this is an ILS approach, we need to tune in the Guernsey localizer on the nav radio. The nav knob is selected on the MFD, which allows tuning of the nav standby frequency, and the localizer frequency of 108.1 is selected. The localizer is switched to the active nav frequency, and the localizer code appears confirming that the Guernsey localizer is being received. As the Guernsey localizer is being received, we can activate APR mode in the autopilot to arm the approach. The localizer and glide slope capture modes are armed. The autopilot intercepts the localizer and starts tracking the localizer course. As we reach the final approach fix, the glide slope is captured by the autopilot and the aircraft begins to descend to follow the glide slope. The glide slope indicator appears on the PFD.
Minimums.
At the approach minimums, the runway is in sight, so we can continue the landing. And we touch down for a safe landing.